I never meant to catch her. The cameras weren't for that. At least, that's what I told myself when I screwed them into the corners of our living room, our kitchen, and the hallway. It was about safety, I said. Security. We live in a decent neighborhood, but break-ins happen everywhere. That was the excuse I gave when I ordered the kit online at midnight one restless Tuesday. But here's the truth I've avoided saying out loud, even to myself. Somewhere deep down, I already didn't trust her. It was a quiet suspicion, like a mosquito bite you can't stop scratching. The late nights at work, the way her phone never left her hand, the nervous laugh whenever I asked who was texting. Maybe I just wanted peace of mind. Maybe I wanted proof. What I didn't expect was to spend an entire Friday night sitting alone in my office, staring at a grainy live feed of my wife betraying me in our own home. First sign. Her name is Melissa. We've been married 8 years. No kids, though we tried for a while. She's 33, beautiful in that effortless way that always made me feel like I'd lucked out. When we met, she was confident, fiery, ambitious. I admired her drive. I still do, at least I used to. That Friday, she told me she was staying late at the office. It wasn't unusual. She works in marketing, lots of campaigns, lots of deadlines. I had no reason not to believe her. Except for that bite of doubt that never seemed to heal. So instead of turning on the TV or grabbing a beer, I pulled up the security app on my laptop. Just to check. Just to ease the gnawing in my chest. That's when I saw her. Melissa walked into the house at 7:14 p.m. with someone else behind her. Man. The stranger in my home. He wasn't tall, maybe a little stockier than me, but younger. Brown hair, sharp jawline, the kind of confidence in his walk that immediately set my teeth on edge. Melissa was laughing. That was the first dagger, the sound of it. Carefree, flirty, the laugh she used on me when we first dated. She never used it anymore. I told myself they were co-workers. Maybe she just needed to pick something up from the house before heading back to the office. But then she set her purse down on the counter and leaned into him. The kiss was quick, but it was enough. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I might throw up right there at my desk. The agony of watching. I should have turned it off. Any sane man would have. But my hand stayed frozen on the mouse. My eyes glued to the screen like a man watching his own execution. They moved into the kitchen. He poured wine. He sat at the counter, looking at her like she was his. Like I didn't even exist. And she looked back at him with that same brightness in her eyes that I hadn't seen directed at me in years. The worst part wasn't the physical. It wasn't the way he put his hands on her waist or how she kissed him like she'd been starving for it. The worst part was how easy it looked. How natural. Like this wasn't their first time. Like this wasn't a mistake. It was routine. The spiral of memory. As I watched, my mind spiraled back through every moment of our marriage. Every late night at work. Every business trip. Every time she turned away from me in bed. Had it all been lies? Had she ever really been mine? Or was I just the placeholder until someone better came along? I thought about the vows we exchanged, the house we built, the way I'd sacrifice promotions, hobbies, friendships, all to make her happy. And there she was, smiling like a teenager on a first date, in my kitchen, drinking my wine with someone else. The breaking point. When they disappeared down the hallway, toward our bedroom, I snapped. My hand slammed down on the desk so hard the laptop shook. I couldn't watch anymore. I couldn't not watch either. It was like being chained to a chair, forced to witness the destruction of everything I'd built with her. I wanted to storm into the house, to catch them red-handed. But what would that do? I'd scream, she'd cry, he'd leave, and somehow, I'd be the crazy husband who installed cameras without telling her. I needed to think. I needed to breathe. So instead, I sat there in the dark office, fists clenched, listening to the faint creak of our old bed through tinny speakers. The morning after. She came home the next morning with coffee in hand, humming like nothing had happened. "Morning," she said, kissing my cheek. Her lips tasted like peppermint gum, not like the betrayal I'd seen. I stared at her, my chest tight. Part of me wanted to shove the laptop in her face, scream, "I know." But another part of me, some twisted masochistic part, wanted to wait. To see if she'd confess. To see if she'd give me even a shred of honesty. She didn't. The days that followed. I watched them again on Monday. And Wednesday. And the following Saturday. Different shirts, different excuses, same betrayal. Each time I told myself it was the last time I'd watch. Each time I lied. It was like pressing on a bruise. Painful, but I couldn't stop. Maybe I thought if I kept watching, I'd find some evidence that it wasn't what it looked like. That she wasn't really in love with him. But all I found was confirmation. Every laugh, every kiss, every whispered word I couldn't quite make out. They were all nails in the coffin. The confrontation. It was the second Thursday when I finally broke. She'd just gotten out of the shower, wrapped in a towel. Her hair dripping down her shoulders. "Melissa," I said, my voice shaking. "How long have you been sleeping with him?" The way she froze told me everything. She didn't ask who. She didn't deny it. She just stood there, eyes wide, mouth slightly open, like a kid caught with her hand in the cookie jar. Finally she whispered, You saw." I laughed. Bitter, ugly sound. I didn't just see. I watched. Every second. The fight that followed wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was worse than that. It was quiet. Cold. She tried excuses at first. It just happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Then she tried blame. "You've been distant. You work too much. You never notice me anymore." Every word felt like another knife. Finally she broke down. "I didn't want to hurt you," she sobbed, covering her face. "I still love you, I do, but I don't know. I needed something else." Something else. I think that hurt more than if she just admitted she didn't love me anymore. Because it meant I was never enough. The decision. That night I packed a bag. Not hers, mine. She begged me to stay, promised therapy, change anything. But I'd already watched the truth unfold, frame by frame, night after night. You can't unsee something like that. Trust, once broken, doesn't just heal. It festers. I left the house at midnight with my duffel slung over my shoulder, the glow of the cameras still playing in the back of my mind. The aftermath. It's been 3 months now. The divorce papers are signed. We split the house, though I let her keep it. I couldn't stand the thought of sleeping in those walls again. Sometimes late at night I still open the app on my phone, half expecting to see her there with him. But the feeds are dark now. Cancelled the service. What I can't cancel are the memories. The way her laughter sounded with him. The way she looked at him like I used to dream she'd always look at me. People tell me time heals. Maybe it does. But right now it just feels like time is a wound that won't close. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Secrets never stay buried. Whether it's cameras hidden in corners or affairs hidden behind excuses, the truth always finds a way to the surface. And when it does, it doesn't just crack the foundation of a marriage. Shatters it. I used to believe love was enough to carry us through anything. Now I know better. Love without honesty isn't love at all. It's just a lie waiting to be caught on camera.